Hey everyone, Dana here. I just want to share my thoughts on Super Mario Odyssey. I haven't beaten the game yet, so these are my initial impressions. This isn't my final review, which I will be doing after I do beat the game. Now, Super Mario Odyssey's been out for a little more than a week, so obviously a lot of people have been playing this game and talking about it. But I just wanted to share my impressions. So, out of the way, Super Mario Odyssey is terrific. It really is just about everything I could have hoped for from a 3D Mario game and then some. While I enjoyed Mario 3D World, it just wasn't really what I was looking for from a 3D Mario game, especially after playing this one. And this is definitely the most fun I've had playing a Mario game since Galaxy 2. And it's definitely, I can see it being, in the top 5 Mario games, period. Right off the bat, the game looks absolutely great. First time there's really been a Mario game that really feels like it was made specifically in high definition. I mean, yeah, 3D World was HD, but it wasn't really like the most impressive looking Mario game ever. But like Odyssey really does look just amazing. Like the colors managed to dazzle you every which way. It's very vibrant. It's very just shiny and just crisp, and it looks great. And it runs great too. Like the frame rate is really spot on, and I haven't really noticed any dips in it so far. I also really love the soundtrack to this game. I love how surprisingly varied it is. Every stage you go to has a different theme and a thematic element to it, and just sort of different background noises that just add to the experience. It almost feels a little bit like Banjo-Kazooie at times in the fact that the music will change in different areas of the levels you're in depending on the scenarios, and I think that's really cool. I almost feel like Mario Odyssey sort of takes the best of like the old school 3D platformers like Mario 64 as well as even elements of games like Banjo-Kazooie and really kind of refines them and really does update them for nowadays. Like the whole collectathon theme even feels like it has a presence here because you're collecting all these power moons which Mario uses to power up his sort of airship, the Odyssey, and now you collect many of them in every level, but like they don't feel stressful to get. They actually feel really fun, and like some of them are really easy to get and some of them are like a lot more challenging to get, and it really does feel like the game is tailored to fit whatever playstyle you could want, sort of taking a page out of Breath of the Wild's rulebook. Now, I want to talk about the controls and the gameplay. Gameplay is fantastic. The controls really are, for the most part, very spot on. Mario jumps very fluidly, very tightly. His running animation is also great. Obviously, jumping is as much a part of this game as it ever has been in any other Mario game. And what's really cool is in this game, Mario can even sort of roll around like a lot, especially on like hills going downhill, and I think that's really cool, really fun. Now, I tend to play with the Joy-Cons just because I sort of got used to doing that with the Galaxy games, and it's sort of just my cup of tea in playing Mario games personally. And overall, I think the motion controls actually do work pretty well in this game. I was a little skeptical about them at first, and it took me a little while to get the hang of it, especially because that's mainly how you throw Mario's hat Cappy in order to possess enemies. But overall, I've actually enjoyed it, and it's actually worked for me. Now, with that said, they're not perfect. There's a few things that are less than ideal. Like, occasionally when I'm trying to get Mario's hat to spin around, it'll take me like 1 or 2 tries to do it. Or if I'm like trying to throw his hat up in the air or downward, same deal. Things like that do happen from time to time, and they can be a little frustrating. But that said, it's just a small part of the game, honestly, and like you can still play the game very effectively and have a lot of fun even without doing that all the time, because you can also just press the Y button to throw Mario's cap and possess enemies. Now, of course, the big gimmick of this Mario game is being able to actually possess things. Like, you can possess everything from Goombas to Koopa Troopas to even some people, to a T-Rex, like, the moment I possessed a T-Rex, I was like, yes, this game is epic, and it just got better from there. And it really does open up a lot of different scenarios and gameplay options. It almost changes the entire genre in a game, but in like a very organic way. Like, it feels like a natural part of the game. because of the fact that you can like choose to possess them for however long you want and then let them be. Like you can even possess a tank. In fact, you'll have to do that for certain boss fights. You'll have to possess the tank to like fight this giant monster in the New Donk City stage. There's just a lot of really fun scenarios in terms of possessing things, objects, and monsters. Like a lot of the power moons that you get revolves around possessing these things. And yeah, it sounds kind of weird and even a little creepy, but it actually works well. And of course, you know, doing different tasks as them to get these power moons. Like you might want to stack a Goomba to impress like a Lady Goomba or Goombette, and she'll be so impressed that she'll give you a power moon. You can like possess a T-Rex to like plow through a bunch of rocks that'll open up areas where you can get a power moon. Now, the game also has these throwback sections to older Mario games where essentially you'll go into a pixelated pipe and play like a segment of a side-scrolling sort of Mario stage. Now, this is both evocative of the old Mario games as well as a little bit of A Link Between Worlds, where Link had to turn into a painting. Now, these I find to be really fun. Sure, some of them were a little short, but I also feel like they don't overstay their welcome too much, because at the end of the day, it's both a cool gameplay mechanic as well as just, you know, a nostalgic nod to the past, just showing, you know, how far Mario's come. And there are even like some stages like that feel evocative of like the Galaxy games, even in 2D with like slight gravity effects. In fact, I feel like Mario Odyssey really does meet that nice sweet spot between having like this open sandbox feel of games like Mario 64, Sunshine, Banjo-Kazooie, but having like the more creative level designs of a Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2. And let me tell you, some of these levels are like really creative, like New Donk City, which is like essentially a New York City for Mario. Like there's just so much going to do in that stage. There's just so much variety and so many like creative things you can do. And then there's places like the Cascade Kingdom where you meet the giant T-Rex. Then there's like the Wooded Kingdom, which has like these sentient like flower plant things and like flower garden hoses and stuff like that. You've got like the Sand Kingdom, which has like the Mexican inspired town and also the sort of Egyptian inspired pyramids. It's got like the nice mix of like differing ideas going on in there. Obviously, you've got like the Snow Kingdom. You've got like just really cool ideas. And the boss fights so far have been really fun. They're not really very challenging. In fact, if there's one thing about this game, I do wish it was a little more challenging at times, especially the boss fights. They're all really fun, but they all go by too quickly. But they don't overstay their welcome either, which is good. But some of the bosses are generally like really creative. I don't really want to spoil too many of them here, and I can't wait to finish the game and just see what happened after the credits roll, because I hear there's a lot to do and experience. Now, I do love this game. Obviously, like I said, it isn't totally perfect. Occasionally, there's a few less than ideal control things with the Joy-Cons, and like I feel like there's also like a lot of... The game is cool because it has like a lot of different costumes that you can buy, but only a handful of them really feel super relevant, at least so far. I'll have to like buy all of them and purchase them. Finally, I feel like there's, of course, the amiibo thing. Like, certain things, you know, the amiibo will unlock, but I also don't necessarily feel like the amiibo are things that necessarily add as much to the game. That's really the only major things I have with the game. Like, it's not perfect, but it is an absolutely outstanding game so far, and I can't wait to beat it. It's definitely one of the best games I've played this year, obviously right up there with Zelda, and I really do recommend that you go out and get this game if you haven't already. It really is worth the money, worth every penny, I'd say, and I'm definitely going to put up a full review that's less rambly once I finally beat the game. So until then, take care.